Do you like the doctor? Is everyone having a good time? Everyone enjoying the weekend? This is a lot of fun. These panels are going great, and you guys are in for a treat. Please welcome my panel guests today, Staite and Glau. Now welcome.
Hi guys.
Very low.
They're very low. They're sort of spacey.
But they swivel. I like it.
Yeah, they feel like Star Trek 60s chairs.
Very much so.
Well, you guys have been in a spaceship, you would know more than I would.
That's true. Spent a lot of time in a couple spaceships.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. Some fancy, some not.
Were there any that you were like, I would love to have my house decor be like this, like it's just so comfortable?
No.
Very claustrophobic, I imagine?
I don't know. Is it claustrophobic? It's a little claustrophobic. The fire ship.
Yeah, it was.
That downstairs part.
It was, especially if you weren't allowed to leave.
All places are claustrophobic when you trapped.
They just kept taking your shoes.
Yeah,
Go
it just
anywhere.
kept locking the doors.
On that show.
It's like prison rules.
Yeah. I guess the beds were pretty comfortable. Because
Were
the
they?
crew would always go sleep in the
Oh, they
beds.
would nap. Yes.
Yeah.
In the
During
like
lunch.
your quarters beds.
Yeah, the crew would, because we would have a lunch break every day. And yeah, sometimes
They
the
spent
crew
more
would
time
go
there.
into the beds and nap.
You would snooze.
That would shock me. Like, you come
Yeah.
in, whoa.
It was
There
shocking.
you see like a key grip sleeping in the hammock. Yeah, it would happen though. They were very nice people.
Are you the kind of people who take mementos from things you've worked on? Like, do you have stuff from various things you've worked on?
I don't have stuff, but I will change that in the future. Because, I mean, I feel jealous of the other actors that stole, let's use the word, the proper word is stole from the set. And I don't know, I guess I was just raised to not steal.
I followed the rules.
Yes,
They told us
yes.
we weren't allowed.
But we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to steal stuff as we
That
go.
version of stealing office supplies that someone else's job.
Yeah, it just felt like it was weird. But I mean, really, what are they going to do with the stuff once a show ends? Do you know what I mean? So just take what we
Yeah,
want.
cancel us.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's just a big warehouse full of everybody's stuff.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Because I remember I was going to a wedding once and the wardrobe department was like, do you need a dress? And they just took me in there and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's stuff goes to die. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I got the cutest little dress. It was, I can't
What
remember
it
what show
looked
it was
like.
from, but it was a vintage,
Like from a show?
chiffon, yeah.
Do you know what show?
I don't remember, but I had quite the shopping spree in there. It was
A
fun.
friend of mine works at Paramount, and I didn't know this, but in your office, you can go to the warehouse and put little Post-its on what you want in your office from like the warehouse. So when you're walking around, people's offices are like a lion's den, or like this looks like a throne room, because they're just like, oh yeah, we're not using it.
Right.
Just use it in your office. It's fine.
It's so funny. Cool.
That's why I can't steal stuff, because otherwise people won't be.
I guess
in your
so. You
office.
can steal some stuff
Small stuff.
though. Like just the small stuff.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
one or two things.
Yeah. Little.
Not like Nathan who steals 100 things. Just like one or
Does he
two.
take big things? Does he back it up the truck?
He's very shameless about it. He fills a box full of stuff and takes it to his home.
Did he tell you, like, you guys gotta get in on this? Like, you get him stealing stuff?
I don't think so. I just think, you know, when you go to his house, he has a displayed case of stolen items around his door. And I was like, wow, where'd you get all this stuff? And he's like, took it. So, yeah.
I earned this.
Yes.
Are you fans of sci-fi stuff? You've been in so many things that have fallen into that genre. Does it just sort of happen that way, or do you enjoy?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of good stuff,
Yeah.
regardless of genre, right? And like one of my favorite movies is Contact. Jodie Foster. That movie's so good.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
good.
tearjerker.
It's so good. So yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't say that specifically I have a favorite genre. I don't know. You?
I do have a favorite genre. I like period films from the 1800s. I wanted to be British, like a 1800s Orange Emma or Jane Austen.
It would have been best if you said like horror.
Yeah, I don't watch that horror. I've never seen a horror movie.
Yes.
I get so easily scared. You know which movie I saw that I Am Legend, and that's not even a horror movie, but there were zombies in it, and I couldn't sleep in my own room. What was the question?
You're in so many sci-fi genre shows and things. Is it so you had to
No, I read a lot. My mom read a lot of science fiction to us as children, and I think that did stick with me and kind of helped shape my imagination and kind of open a lot of doors creatively for me. So it kind of made sense. But I think when you get into science fiction, it's just a really, in particular, I think a great place for girls, because there's not just the girlfriend or the hot girlfriend or the extra hot girlfriend, and she's like, that's what she does. There's, like you playing, getting to play the mechanic,
It's a more broadened horizon, I
Yeah.
guess, is the thing.
It's a utopian future.
Yeah.
A little bit more on
That's fun. It's fun as an actor, right?
It is
You
fun.
can do wild, crazy stuff. Play a crazy person. And
Is that the best thing to do as an actor? Like, what's the ultimate dream actor? Because I've heard people say, like, getting to die or play drunk, or like something like that, that we could just chew the scenery.
Playing drunk is really hard. I don't think anybody wants to do
So
that.
hard. I'm scared. Yeah, my husband says that pretending to sleep or pretending to be drunk are both really hard when you're an actor.
Yeah, because when you're drunk, you're usually trying to pretend like you're not drunk,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So like to act that is hard. You know who does it really well is Alan.
He does everything well.
He does. It's really annoying, but Alan plays drunk very well. Like the Jamestown. Remember when he comes back to the ship and he's hammered? It's one of my favorite scenes of the whole show because it's so good and Zoe's so mad. It's great, but that's hard to do. I don't know. What's your dream? What do you like? What's the one thing where you're like, oh my god,
I
yeah,
got the script and
I get to do that.
I kind of felt that way. I loved playing a Terminator. That was really fun. I was like, I get to throw somebody else. I get to smash them in a car. Yeah, that felt pretty good.
It's cathartic for you.
You're both TV shows based on iconic sci-fi movies, you Terminator and Stargate. And, were you familiar with Had you watched Terminator? That wasn't scary, or were you?
I didn't see it before I got cast.
Really? Did you watch it when you did get cast?
Yes, my dad was so embarrassed that I hadn't seen it. So I did the whole marathon after I got cast. And I really fell in love with it, but I didn't feel like I had to see it to feel like I knew what it was, because it's just kind of part of our, it's just part of the pop culture. So, but no, I hadn't seen it.
Did you feel like you had to research things when you become part of a long-standing?
I mean, I probably should. Like there's been a couple of, on Stargate, I did not research anything, and we were shooting an episode in, I want to say season 4, called Tabula Rasa. And we had a lot of background actors on the set that day, and we all wear uniforms in the show, right? And you have a little flag here that says what country you're from, essentially. And there was a background performer who had a flag that we did not recognize. And I said, what country is that? And I said, well, maybe it's a new country in the future. And they all looked at me, the other actors on the show, and they were like, what are you talking about in the future? And I was like, I'm saying that maybe there are new countries in the future. They said, do you think this show takes place in the future? And I said, does it not? And they're like, no, it's present day. And I was like, well then why are we on this spaceship, this city that flies? And like, because it's a science fiction show. So I learned to do some research before starting a job.
I've been planning the future this whole time.
Yeah, I was like, it blew my mind.
Just everything.
It blew my mind. Why wouldn't I think it was the future?
I would think
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Because you know we don't have Stargates.
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
And all these fancy medical tools and stuff that, you know, I'm the doctor, so they're giving me all this stuff that doesn't exist in reality. So I'm thinking, oh, they've invented some new, anyways.
You're right, they're all.
Yeah, basically. That's how I live my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to
My family loves it.
Just bend for reality
Yeah.
to shoot your. So let's take some questions. If people want to line up here in the front, we have mics on either side if you want to ask some questions.
The lights are very bright, so we can't see you very well, so don't be shy.
It's true.
Basically.
Where are we?
Not even
Over
the
here?
mics are.
We have one on this side. Yep.
Oh.
In the eaves. Yep. Okay. Yes.
Hi, I was in Alan's 2 days panel earlier.
No, what do you say?
So he mentioned that Nathan Fillion loved the fact that he kept pitching ideas to Joss for additional episodes for the show. And there was one in particular where there was a dogfighting. There was a dogfighting happening on a planet, and the dogs ended up chasing you back to the ship. And then Summer's character ends up taming the dogs. That was one episode that you wanted to pitch. So I wanted to see what one of your favorite ones was. That
Oh my God.
That would have kept us on the air.
That would have been the one.
If he had thrown that one in, you know, in the nick of time.
This is season 2, for sure. Oh my God, I don't know, but I remember Alan was constantly pitching weird ideas. Remember to Joss? Like he was like, what about this? And Joss was like, no. But yeah, I don't know. Like after a while, I think we just stopped listening. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't recall.
he's just talking and
She's just talking.
White
We're all
horse.
just like, yeah, totally, for sure, great idea.
Thank you.
Yes.
This question is for Joel. Joel, you were at the Denver Pop Culture a few years ago, and you had your significant other with you. You guys were talking about him having a man cave and having a shrine for you. How'd that ever turn out?
Well, he has, his home office is completely covered in and decorated with Kaylee art. So when I get artwork given to me at conventions by these lovely people, Charlie loves it. He's like, oh, love that. And it goes off the wall. Yeah. It's a little weird though, like if you really break it down and think about it. Like,
It's weird.
It's a bit
Val
weird.
keeps everything in a box. He's like, this.
Yeah.
This, like, I
It's
feel
like all over the wall.
a little weird about having all this stuff with my picture on it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird to hang around the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We'll keep it in one room.
Yeah, so he just has it in his office, and then we just opened up a warehouse in Blaine for T-runners, and he got a really large print of Kaylee, not me, of Kaylee, like in costume and everything, for the warehouse. Yeah, like he loves Kaylee probably more than me.
Does he ever call it?
No, but like he saw the show after we got together. He's like, you should really watch this show that people are talking about. And he was like, you are so sweet in this show. It was like how he wishes I was all the time.
At least you're in on the art, like you didn't
Oh,
just
yeah.
stumble into his office one day and be like, what is this?
Yeah, that would have been really weird.
So sweet.
You're right. Yeah, that's nice.
Yes.
I didn't know the newnovelist.com. We saw your new YouTube sci-fi show called Cece.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, we reviewed it, and I'm still waiting for that to be approved. I'd like to know, how did you approach the role of being a robo-nanny?
Yeah, I was an evil robo-nanny. Although she doesn't think she's evil, she's just doing what she thinks is best for the child. It was tough though. The writers and directors of that project are twin sisters, and they're insanely talented. So right away, as soon as I read it, I said, I'm in. But it's a strange line to walk, right? When you're playing a robot. How to just sort of, and especially like a nanny, like she's this really loving, you know, sweet presence with kids. So yeah, it was just like, it was a tough line. And you know, I'm one of those actors that like every time I watch something I've done, I want to redo it. I'm like, I've done this differently. So yeah, I would have changed a couple of things maybe about the performance in hindsight. But the directors were happy, and that's what matters. And I think it turned out beautifully.
Yes,
I'm
and
really, really proud of it.
You're award-winning for that.
I am. Thank
Yes.
you, Summer. I didn't even tell her to say that at all.
Is there anything that you've done that you think is not perfect, but sort of the best thing you've done, or like the best example or an episode that you're most proud of?
It's hard, I don't know.
I did this one commercial for Bell South.
Oh, I've seen that. Where you won an award for that.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That was golden.
Yeah, the longest. But you do watch the things that you're in.
I think that's the only way you learn, is to watch it back.
It's painful.
Can be.
Yeah, because a lot of people enter things they just can't.
It's hard.
I go like that from the kitchen.
You have someone in the other room, you're like, tell me about it.
Yeah, it's tough, for sure.
Yes.
It's weird.
Hi, I really enjoyed River's fight scene in Serenity, and I just wondered if you had any good memories from training for or filming them.
Do you have any good memories?
They're all just about
Good ones. Well, looking back, I really am grateful that I got to push myself to do it. Because so often, they try to get the actors to do it, but they just don't have the time to get them in the gym enough to do it, to actually do it. It's just so much easier and safer to have the stunt team do it. So I am really grateful now. It taught me a lot about humility and patience, because it took months for me to really start to get the hang of it. And I'm really grateful that Joss felt like I could do it. And I guess, my favorite memory now is my very, very first class, which was out in Alhambra, which is really like an hour east of LA. And I got there, and it was in the middle of a park, just under a pavilion with a concrete floor. And it was me and 40 12-year-old Asian assassin boys who were none too pleased to see me. And I just stumbled my way through it week after week, and there were days that I looked at the exit sign and thought, can I outrun Chad? No. So I just went to the bathroom and cried a little bit. But I look back at it, it's one of the most special things that could have happened to me, especially, going from being a dancer to being on set and taking on this role that, in Firefly, River was such a supporting character, and then I had a lot more to do in the movie, and I think I would have really overthought it if I hadn't had that physical place to go every day to just, get out of my head. So it was pretty special. Thanks.
Did you ever have to do a fight scene that cost?
No. They take one look at me and go, we'll get it done. We'll get it done for her.
Yes.
Hi, yes, just want to say thank you, Jewel, for coming back again for this is your second time here. And Summer, welcome to Reno.
Thank you.
This is actually my daughter. Her middle name is River, named after Rivertown. So, just one question and maybe a request. How was it like playing River in that state that she's basically not coherent? It's got everything. How was that like throughout the whole and kind of seeing her grow and get potentially much stronger?
Well, now that I've reflected on it, because this is something that people ask me, and I think that the role was the perfect thing for me at that time in my life. I had just started acting, and I really didn't know how to be an actor, or how to be on set, how to be with other actors. And there was a lot of sort of vulnerability and a lot of nervous energy, and I was such I did have a hard time connecting, and I did have a hard time expressing myself, and so it was a very therapeutic relationship between myself and River, and I really, when I look back at, I still have my audition pages from when I was cast in the role. Yeah, I saw the audition pages last year when I moved, and when I saw them, I thought I couldn't go back and do it again. It's such a different part of me that I think I've worked out, but it was, and I felt that way throughout my career. A role comes, and I feel like it's what I need to work on at that time, and I worked through it. But for me, it was very natural. I didn't do any research. I just read the pages and I put myself in that position. And I felt safe on that set and with that group of actors. They really made me feel like I belonged. They made me feel like I really was part of the family. And so I was free to just kind of let out what needed to come out. And I just trusted. So that's what it was like.
Can you say a line from Serenity, the iconic line when you got off the, I want to say the swallow of the line?
I was going to say, my turn. I swallowed a bug. Thank you.
You get asked to do lines and things often, like are there ones that come up
All the time, yes.
What's the number one?
You know what it is.
Just trying to
The old,
anticipate.
yeah, the batteries line, we'll call it. I was out with a bunch of guys, some friends of mine at a Comic-Con. They're comic book authors and artists, and one of them had a few cocktails and asked me to say the line. And they were all like, buddy, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. What are you doing? But I did it.
Yeah. You play drum very well. So yes.
Both of you are known for your multiple iconic roles in the sci-fi genre, but you've also done a lot of guest spots. So my question is, what was your favorite guest spot and what made it special to you?
Probably The Order. Did the show called The Order on Netflix last year? Last year. And I got to play twins. And they were very bad ladies. One of them being worse than the other one. But I had so much fun doing that one. I love playing evil anyway. But yeah, it was great fun for me. And I was like, oh, I think if I just played bad guys for the rest of my career, I would just be genuinely fulfilled. I feel so fulfilled. Yeah, I was like, oh, that was very empowering. Let me do that again.
It was awesome. Yeah, I love playing bad guy too. So that was fun on Arrow. I got to play a villain, and I played a villain on Wu Assassins. That was really fun, getting to be a water Wu. And I really had a really good time on Grey's Anatomy, and I, of course, Big Bang. I had a blast on Big Bang. I really did have a good time. Thank you.
Mike, I guess my question is kind of for both of you. Both of you seem to kind of have this confidence about you that I think brings joy to other people. Do you find it difficult when you're in a role, specifically somewhere like Terminator, where you just kind of turn off all that emotion? And to pay a compliment to you, I think you were a much more terrifying Terminator than Arnold Schwarzenegger ever was. Great job with that.
Thank you. What was the question?
Is it hard to turn off the emotion? Like when you have to play someone?
I felt so bad for my scene partner. Did you feel that way too when you were?
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty like, as you know, I'm an emotional person. So it's so hard for me to take that down a notch. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me it also worked in reverse. So, because I played a Terminator for 2 years, so embarrassing. I had this audition and it was for something that I really would have loved to do because, as I said earlier, I wanted to do period films. And it was when those epic Grecian dramas were coming in, and I can't remember which one it was for anymore, but it was for one of those Thor type things. And I went in. I was so, so nervous and so prepared. And my manager called me after, and she said, they love you, they love you. They want to know if it was a choice not to blink. I've been practicing not blinking for 2 years, and I was so embarrassed. I didn't get the part. They were like, is she gonna blink?
Some directors who famously wouldn't let any of their actors blink.
Like, who are they? I
Russ
just know
Meyer, blinking anything. Like, there's like
Really?
scenes of like, yeah, the actors were just like, you have to do 70 takes because he's like, you blinked.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I got a 10-minute dialogue, so.
That was a missed connection for me.
How would you even practice that?
You just do, and I would practice shooting the gun without flinching, without blinking. So here I am, really scared in an audition, and I just went into, Terminator mode.
Yes.
This is a question for both Jewel and Summer. How did it feel to be both role models?
Aw. How does it feel to be a role model?
I thought she said hormonal.
You can answer that if you want.
No, you don't answer that one.
Okay. Well, when we see you, it feels, like our hearts have wings because you are so.
You're so cute, Dan. You really are just the cutest little thing.
You're such a beauty, and you really, you make our day.
It's true. People we get asked a lot by people that say, is it weird when you see people dressed up like you? And I'll tell you, it's one of the best things. I will never get tired of it. I love it so much. And every time I see a Kaylee, I gotta get a picture with the Kaylee and put it on my Instagram. Because I can't get enough of it. So we love you for loving the show so much, and we hope we can live up to what you would like us to be as much as we can, even if it's just a little bit.
It's an honor.
In fact, that part about sci-fi, it's you can have women in roles that can be role models more than necessarily models. Or it's changing now. It's a little easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Nice. I really like this swivel chair.
Gentlemen might have possibly touched on it earlier, but personally, I just want to know for you guys, and it's for both of you, what role had the biggest impact on you personally?
I would say Kaylee for sure. Just because we just didn't really know that this would happen. We were on what we were told was a failing show that no one was watching. Really, that's what we were told. So that's what we believed, and it wasn't until we started going to conventions and being invited to conventions that we realized that there was this movement happening of people that loved it so much and appreciated it so much. And because of those people, because of you guys, we've gotten to travel the world together a lot, right? We've been to some crazy places this summer. Crazy. For us and for me, the show didn't really go anywhere, do you know? I get when people are sad and they come up to us and say, I'm so sad that it's over. It was almost 20 years ago, which is crazy. But for us, we gained these friendships that are very strong and precious, and managed to stick it out and still stay in touch all these years later. And sometimes I have to mute that group chat, but it's an amazing thing, don't you think? So yeah,
so
the impact of that has just been so long and unexpected and beautiful.
Yeah, it's more than a role. It changed our lives. I got my passport to do a convention in England. I'd never been overseas. I didn't have the vision for that. And then we've been to Australia many times and Germany and crazy. And we've stayed in each other's lives in a way that I don't think we would have, because Firefly is an underdog story about an underdog story, really, and we've all bonded together over it.
all of that. Like, you know, I think he's definitely made it a priority to keep us all together. And, you know, now we've all got kids, and it's crazy. Like, we've seen each other through so much. It's just crazy.
Have your kids watched things that you were in?
Well, I didn't think so, but then the other day, I don't know if any of you have seen Wu Assassins, but I play a character who can drown people from the inside. And so there was a scene, and my daughter reenacted it perfectly. She drew little hearts in her palm, so instead of water, she was the heart Wu, but
Their hearts explode.
yeah, well, and she is pretty sneaky about finding stuff on the Netflix. You know, if I leave for a few minutes, she's pretty crafty. She's 4. I didn't mean for her to see that stuff. But do you have a? I think I'm gonna let her watch my Christmas movie. That's all right to watch your Christmas movie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know, I was just trying to think of what could you
Just
see.
anything else? Yeah.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, really nothing.
Mine's almost 4, so it's just not there yet. Right?
Everyone I know who's, you know, has kids that are actors, a lot of times their kids are just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like they're really disinterested because it's like their parents' work.
Yeah.
And it's all certain.
Although one time he said, I was like, so I have to go tomorrow. You remember I've got to go? I said, yeah. And I said, you remember what mommy does for a living, right? And he goes, audition?
It's not wrong.
He's not!
Yes.
Well, my aunt is just really thankful for your social media feeds. It puts a smile on her face.
Aw, thank you. That's so nice. That's it.
You
Just a
look
compliment. Best question of the day. Thank you.
Yes.
If either of you could play a historical character, what would be a role you'd love to go after?
Joan Crawford.
You're a Joan Crawford.
Like when she went cray-cray.
You're jumping.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with this podcast. It's called You Must Remember This. Okay, I'm obsessed.
It's very good.
And it's all of these long forgotten tales of Hollywood. You love it, of old Hollywood. And they're all true stories, but they've got this sort of like ghost story vibe. And she did a 5-part series, the host of a 5-part series about Joan Crawford. And I listened to all of it and was like, that's who I would want to play it.
That sounds amazing.
It's the best
Sounds like-
podcast. It's so good.
Yeah, that's great.
Send it to you.
Do you have a historical figure that you would love? Including 1800s.
Chuck Norris.
No, I don't want to see Jane Austen's Chuck Norris starring with.
Without thinking.
Yes, no way. It's like Walker, Texas Ranger, like Texas as before, you know? Yes.
Do you like acting and starting Atlantis?
Yes. I grew to love Stargate. I was really scared coming in because I was replacing a very well-loved character on the show, who also happened to be one of my best friends. Awkward. But pretty much right away, the cast was very warm to me and made me feel at home and teased me relentlessly and all that. And I always say that was one show that if it had gone on for like 15 seasons, I would have just kept saying yes, because it was so dreamy. When you have a great job like that, it's really hard because you just compare every job after that to that one. You're like, oh, it's a good one, but it's no Stargate. So yeah, I think all of us are just holding out for something like that. Again, so much fun. I love those guys. They're great people.
So it's better to have well, obviously from a work perspective, it's better to be in a series, but as an actor, do you find it's easier to be in a series and be the same character for a long time, or do you like being able to change a lot?
I like it.
I like it too. I think because, you know, every week there's a new story about your character that you didn't see coming. So it's fun. It's like you're just constantly discovering all of these new things about this person. And you get to see the same crew members every day, and I love that.
I love working with the crew. That is one of the most rewarding things about doing television. You know, you really feel like you belong to those people, and and
Yeah.
you count on each other. I mean, it's really, even the lighting and the way that a certain cameraman works, it's unique. And when you start to, when you feel like you can do that thing that they need and you can work together as a team, it adds a whole other dimension to your acting work.
Totally.
So I love
it too.
Yes.
Is there a character from a book or a comic that you really want to play?
Oh, man. I mean, I read a lot, so I'm constantly casting myself as characters. How do I think about it? What's one? I'm gonna think for a second.
I love my favorite, just juiciest character that I've read in a long time, and I've been saying this for a few years. It's still true. I'm excited to see it. Boris in Goldfinch is just the best characters I've ever read. They didn't even see me for it. It's about to come out. I can't wait. Or is it out?
I think it's out.
I never make it to the theaters.
It's out.
Yeah, I really want to see that one over the holidays.
I don't think. I feel like I just read something. It's gonna come to me later, like when I'm lying in bed tonight. You know how that happens? Right before you fall asleep, you're like, that's what it was.
Just tweet it out.
Yeah, tweet it out. Something though, I just read. I read a lot. I have like 5 books in my nightstand. Thank you.
Have you ever gotten to play a role that was, that was in something you had read previously, or something that you were like, wow, I really want to do this?
Yeah, like an established world, yeah.
Yes.
I have to say that when Firefly first came out, we missed it. The advertising was horrible.
Yes.
Hookers in space, yeah.
Yes, no, we know.
This was a really cool science fiction film. That was, hey, let's go watch Serenity. This looks interesting. And then we came out of the theater, and I realized, wait a minute, that was a series. So we went and got the DVDs and binge watched it. But it really impressed me, one, that everybody in the cast, they weren't trying to get used to their roles. Like from episode 1, it's like everybody already knew each other and had been together for years. But it was especially interesting to watch River's character. She wasn't just this fragile little person who's going to fall apart. She was actually the angel of death. And that slowly show up in the show, and a little bit like, oh, okay. There it is. At the time she picked up the gun, turned around, looked, and then shot 3 people. Oh, she is seriously dangerous. Wins the West is going to hurt.
Do you know when you have a character that develops in such an extreme way like that, are you aware of that's where the character's going when you first start with the character, or does some of that come as a surprise to you?
We don't know anything. No.
Joss was very
secretive.
Yeah. We didn't know what was going to happen week to week. Firefly in particular was kind of like anything could happen. But I do remember mentioning at some point, why doesn't River get a gun? River should fly the ship.
It's okay, he's not here.
Yeah. I think I'm lucky that it was right at the beginning of my career when I just I wasn't as controlling, I think, as I am now. Like, I was more willing to just, okay, like, I'll do an accent this week, and then I'll try this, and then I'll try that, and I kind of rode the waves back then, and it was a really thrilling ride, that show.
I will say that, in terms of people watching the movie first, the movie really does stand on its own. It very well. I mean, a lot of people are upset about the movie for various reasons. It's dark, but it's also really beautiful, and there are some amazing pieces of writing. One of my favorite scenes is when you're at the very end, when it's you and Nathan on the bridge, and he gives you the speech about the secret of flying. It's one of the most beautiful monologues. I love it. And I was in it, Right? It stands on its own as something else. I mean, it's a continuation of the world, but it really is its own special thing, I think.
Thank you. Yes?
I was just wondering if either of you have read the Firefly comics, and if so, what it's like to see yourself like illustrated as a comic book character.
Are you ready?
That's fine. I've read some of that.
Some of
But
it.
then I saw two today that I had never seen before.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I guess they're still.
They don't tell us anything. Yeah. I see all kinds of merch that comes through, and I'm like, what's that? It's like a new, something that I've never seen before.
It can't be like just mail stuff to me. They don't send you like.
No,
toys
we
or
don't.
anything.
Sean and I were at a convention recently. Do you remember this from the group chat? And this guy came up. Our tables, signing tables were next to each other, and this guy came up and he had blown up a print from one of the comics where we are in the throes of stuff. But he had blown it up to like a giant poster. It's literally like a drawing, and we're all like muscly and sweaty, and he wanted us to sign it, and Sean was horrified, but I was laughing. I thought it was just the best. I was like, where did you get this? And he's like, it's from the comic book. I'm like, wow, where are you gonna hang this in your house? Like, do you know? Like, imagine going to someone's house, and you're like, oh wow, that's an interesting piece about your fireplace. Interesting choice.
Totally opposite like this character that you embodied, where like they've been doing what?
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking, my character was doing this.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. We're like, oh wow, I did not realize that happened. It's really
But
something.
the comic book, especially those very first covers, that's my favorite thing to sign.
Yeah.
Is that
They're cool.
first cover. It just feels like, wow, that happened. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes?
This question is for Summer, and it's about Knight's Badass. I want to know your feelings and takes from that experience, and I want to know if you ever hung out with any of the extras, all the little fighter guys.
Well, we did hang out because we had to go to LARPing class, which was so dangerous. Oh my gosh. It's like, where's the choreography? They're like, free flow. And, I almost got decapitated several times. But it was like summer camp with the coolest actors, Before I decided to do the job, I was on the phone with Joss and I said, yeah, it's Steve Zahn and Jimmy Simpson and Danny Pudding. Was like, do it, and Peter Dinklage, and I had the best time. We were in. Have you ever shot anything in Spokane, Washington? No. It's such a beautiful, fun kind of. It's a small town, but very creative, and I remember it's the only movie I've ever shot completely over night. The whole shoot was night shoots.
Oh my God, really?
So we were totally flipped.
Cool.
It was hard at first, but then we bought bicycles on eBay, and we would just ride through town at night in the dark. It was really cool. It was just like a wonderful summer camp. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun experience.
When you watch the things that you've made, aside from being difficult, is it hard to get lost in the story because you end up remembering stuff like that? Like if you watch that, are you just thinking of riding your bike through the town at night, or like other things you were doing at that time?
I think so.
Every role we've had, it's probably been, I'm connecting to everything that was happening in my life at that time.
Yeah.
I'm reliving things.
Sure.
Because,
when I watch things with Charlie, with my husband, I'm like, oh, so, I don't know if you can see it, but my cell phone is in my pocket. You can see it in my pocket. It's like, stop. I'm very annoying to watch movies with.
Ruining all.
Yeah, or like movies that I'm not even in, there'll be like some like Game of Thrones battle or whatever, and I'm like, this was a nightmare to shoot. I'll tell you that. These actors are not happy. He's like, can you please be quiet? Yeah, I'm like, oh, this poor guy.
Is Is there anything that he's like, I need to watch this alone?
All the time. Yes, all the time. There was a time where he was like, "You're not allowed to speak during Game of Thrones anymore." He was like, "No talking, no talking."
Is there anything that you have coming out soon that you're working on now that you can't talk about that you're excited about?
I just have Wu Assassins out, and I have an audio series out called Alternus. That was really fun. It was my first time. I narrate the story, but I play all the characters too. That was really fun.
That is fun.
It's a great time. That's it for right now.
Do people expect you to know martial arts because you're playing these characters?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you probably could, like, kick someone if you wanted to. You probably could.
Guys, yeah.
I have a thing I just wrapped in New York, but I'm like pretty certain I can't talk about it yet. I get in trouble for that a lot. They make you, yeah, I have a big mouth. And they make you sign all of this stuff now. It's become very
Your social media
serious.
too, because you don't know when you're allowed to post a picture.
They make you sign a social media release and thing saying you will not post. And
But sometimes they want you to put their like post from the set, but don't tell people what it is.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Also post. What do you want
I'll just have to play a villain I've played before.
Okay.
And it was really fun.
Having been in a show sort of when social media was sort of just starting to influence the fandom of shows and how much it influences and that feedback loop now, is it difficult to adapt, or is it vastly different in the way you make things?
No, it is for me. I never had any social media, and I remember the first show that I ever, when I was on the Cape, they wanted David and I to have a social media, and I was just too shy. And then I remember the next show I went on was Reno, which was a lot of slightly younger actors than me, and they were all whizzes on that. I mean, it was a seamless part of the job. They were constantly interacting with each other, and I felt like it felt like a whole new way of acting. And I think now it's kind of it's an important part of it. I mean, I still don't have anything.
It's hard. It's sort of the antithesis of what you do when you're playing other people in other things, and I have to share you.
There's lots of different ways to do it. You do it really well because you share your work, but then you also share you, which is so.
I like that part of it because it breaks down some barriers and the misconception that because we're on TV we're like special people or something and like live like the high life all the time, you know. So I talk a lot about like struggles parenting and like just real life stuff, and I want other people, you know, especially mothers, parents, to feel like they're not alone. Because it's hard and it can be tough, and so I think that's something that I appreciate about it is showing the real side of me more than just like the acting stuff.
It gives you a platform to have a sort of a more reach with.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. But I mean, it's not for everybody. Right? Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're out of time, but please thank Jewel and Summer.